who's doing the intro? All right, we are live now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You're-
I don't know where it will take us, but overall, the whole premise is we've been just talking with Maciek to just discuss what everyone is kind of discussing, but I think our combined backgrounds will give some interesting perspective. I hope so, at least. So whoever listens to it, I hope you will take at least one takeaway from what we will be discussing for the next, I don't know how many minutes. But the main topic is AI and web development. Kind of boring, I know. Everyone is talking about it, but we have some cool things to share, and maybe some quick intros to start
Yeah.
off. Do you want to start?
Okay. I can
Yeah,
start. Yeah. I think that was a good intro for this podcast.
nice.
So, yeah. And what I'm doing right now is very related to what you just told. And I'm building Mano tool which allows to, in a visual way, represent what AI is generating. Because as we know, AI right now is generating amazing things in code, in image generation, but so far for designers, we don't have a lot of tools. And Mano is something what is focusing on web designers, so we can create websites with AI, but still keep this visual representation of this. So this is something what I'm building.
Awesome. And I would love to hear some more about your background as well, because that's also, I think, very relevant for this before I make my introduction, because you
Okay.
started as a hard code developer, right?
Yes. Yes. So I started my journey with building products, websites around like 10 years ago when I was in code, and I spent few years building in code, but then I uh, found Webflow, which I really liked, and I focused for a few years on building a Webflow agency. So that was a really, really great journey where we were building Webflow websites, we were building products with code and products around Webflow. And yeah, that's my journey.
Yeah. And that's also how we basically met around like 4 years ago, I think, right? Because yeah,
Yeah.
just giving a quick background on me. I'm the head of no code at Tonik, which is a design agency based in Poland, but working mainly with early stage startups from US. And what my team does is they're focused on. We started with Webflow. This was our core thing that we've been doing. And I also started as a freelance developer back then. Did WordPress, all of those no code stuff because, unlike you, I never wanted to touch code, and I'm very lucky because as soon as I was starting to learn JavaScript when doing Webflow, for example, then all of those AI tools came up, and I never had to touch, learn this. I learned just basics, and then I just was prompting the first version of ChatGPT to generate code. But that's basically like Webflow connected us because you started a big community in Poland for Webflow, and you've been like the first one, the kind of dinosaur in Poland that was doing that was doing Webflow. And I
Yes.
was looking at all the templates that you've been building. Kind of inspired me. I even found my current job. I even found tonik on your community, Webflow Polska, which is also a funny story. So this is like a full circle moment because how it came up to this, like even us recording the podcast, we did a hackathon at tonik, and our entire point of the hackathon is the point that we'll be discussing in the actual podcast. Because what we've noticed is we have clients, and I love Webflow. Like Webflow, don't take it wrong. We have clients telling us, like right now this year, that Webflow is kind of becoming an old technology, and that it's locked, and that is cool. Okay, nice, but you can't access the code base in an easy way. You can't prompt pages as we go. So we had this idea that we kind of were pushed to it that we need to do some kind of a pivot in our no-code team to switch to being able to build custom code sites without knowing code, because we are no code, and you like came from like heaven at the exact moment, because the first night of the hackathon, which Maciek was invited to as well, my entire team, me included, we were trying to figure out a way to prompt websites, to take Figma and hook up it to like Cursor or Cloud Code, whatever, and kind of bring this Figma design to code. But we've run into a lot of problems and bottlenecks. I think like this is where Mano comes in, because it's a process that is very hard to pack. So you have different outputs per like the way you prompt, the way you set up Cursor, the way you set up Cloud Code, the way you use LLMs. You have very different like outputs of that process, and it's very hard to tweak what is going on without burning a lot of tokens. So we kind of descended from heaven, gave us Mano, and now we are talking. Because like Mano is something that I don't want this podcast to be like a praise for Mano and like an advertising campaign, but I want to touch on what it allows us to do. And it's very interesting that the way you're building that, because it's essentially kind of like, I won't compare it to Webflow, but I kind of will for some people to understand. The way I'm seeing that is Webflow on steroids. So it's kind of, it packs the entire process. With one click, we can create a GitHub repo. It's fully ours. We can use Mano. We don't have to use Mano, but we can use Mano to build the page. And we have a terminal on the left side of the interface. And then in the middle is something very similar to Webflow, which is like a canvas with components. And that's what I love about it. And yeah, like it kind of solved our problem, because this is something that I was very worried about. That's very hard to do. But then you've been working on it for how many years? For 4 years almost?
Yeah, the first idea of this product was almost 4 years ago, but of course this product is like around 1.5 year of really focused work on exactly how it looks right now, because earlier that was different iterations of it.
Yeah.
And that's so cool that you presented Mano, so I didn't have to do it, and I could actually hear what you how you see it, and this is amazing, because that was basically what was my idea, that AI is generating something, but still, if you don't want to learn the code, you will not be able to actually understand it. And that's okay if you build some MVP, but if you are building a scalable website, which you really need to understand what this AI is building. And that's what Mano is giving both design team, marketing teams, developer teams. Everyone lives in one ecosystem. That was basically the problem which I wanted to solve, that you can understand what AI is building, and you can still visually be able to do simple fixes, simple changes, iterations, experiments.
Yeah, and what's insane about that from even like a business perspective for us as well, is so we are currently like very heavy, like we're testing Mano. We did some initial projects, and from those even like initial projects and no sugar coating, like we did, I think 3 websites, so not that many, but it's it's a relatively new tool. You introduced it to us like a month or 2 months ago, right? Something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm seeing, and what is insane, like comparing to Webflow to Framer, is without knowing the code, we are able to ship faster than in Webflow. And this is crazy, because this is like something that I'm thinking about often, is where it will take us and how Webflow will stand against it. Like, because right now, like I know, when I was using Mano for the first time, I actually did my first custom code website over the weekend. And I was learning Mano, but still what I learned in Webflow, so kind of this learning curve. Webflow, showed me how to do the CSS, the HTML, add JavaScript, understand how websites work, like how CMS works, everything else. So like coming from Webflow, it was very easy for me to adjust to Mano, which is also like awesome because it's like the next step. And I'm kind of thinking, what's your take on Webflow in this environment as well?
Mm-hmm.
Because they are big, they have a lot of customers. We love them. You love them. We build businesses on top of Webflow.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of wondering where it will take us. Like, what's your take on what Webflow needs to do to kind of survive? I know it's a big word, but
Yes. So this is something was what I was thinking a lot when I was building this product. If it's worth to build it because Webflow can do similar thing, and if I would not believe really that Webflow, how it works right now, is not able to create AI integration that is truly native, I would really not do this tool, because like you said, I love Webflow, and basically my career for the last few years was focused on Webflow. But Webflow right now, and similar to Framer, they both are like tools which have hundreds of connections and big database structure to create a website. So AI, the only way to connect with it is with the MCP. So MCP works this way, like MCP clicks in this button and now adds something more. So it goes step by step, and it has to, every time it makes a change, it has to read it, then make the change, then read it one more time, see how it changed. So basically, this is very not native way of creating websites, and in general tools like Cursor, tools like Codex, Cloud Code, they are focused on reading entire text file and then editing it entirely. So and basically this is something what Webflow will not be able to do in the form as it is right now, because of course we don't know how Webflow will transform, because maybe they will find a way to create a bridge which somehow is from this complex structure is making something simpler for AI, and then allows AI to edit it and then one more time recreate it to this complex structure. Or maybe they will completely change the structure of how Webflow works behind. They also very work actively on components, so this is something what can also help them a lot, because maybe AI will be able just be able to create based on components, and also create components with React, what they released recently, so you can create a React component. But still, this is something what I can see how much they want to bring AI to this, but this is still very not native, because okay, they created React components inside of the Webflow, but still the basic core of Webflow is allowing people to edit something in those components. And in React components, you don't have to ability to do it. You can just talk with AI, reprompt it. Of course, you can ask AI to create some properties, and then you will be able to edit those properties by hand.
But you have to ask first, right? Without understanding, you have to ask. So it adds a layer on top of that. Yeah, it's just kind of like a funny thing we are in right now. Like when I'm looking at the even agency's perspective and like all the entire web development perspective, we have these big players. We have Webflow, we have Framer, but it's much harder for them to adapt because they have very complex, environments and very complex tools and a lot of customers, so they can't kind of turn it all around. And that's what opens the doors for people like you, and that's what I respect as well, with going in the gap and building something, because Mano is like fully AI first, right? You build the way that the AI is first. You said something to me after the hackathon, I think, that you can't bet against AI. when you're building products. And that's what I'm also believing. Like, we are in an age that when you build a product, so first of all, we are in an age that you can build whatever without knowing how to code. So kind of it allows us to, vibe code, the word of the year for the past years. But like it also like but then there is this one thing that she told me, like, that to never bet against that, to build something on top of AI. So with every model, Mano gets better, and this is kind of insane. And I saw it firsthand when I was like, using Opus 4.6 and then 4.7. And we will probably talk about codecs as well in a moment, because my Twitter is all codecs now. So I would love to hear your plans on that as well. But it's crazy how it improves. And for Webflow, it's hard to introduce because they have very complex infrastructure.
Exactly. Yes. Building products around models, AI models, was something what I designed this way, that if there will be a new tool, Mano is able to adapt to it, because that was the decision that we work on files. Because when I was starting building Mano, cursor was big thing, and I thought, okay, so Mano will be able to connect with cursor, but then cloud code. Now you told that you would like to use codecs, and maybe in the future there will be new tools. Mano is able to connect with all of them because we work on files and we are open. And that's one more thing which just makes it more safe for me to build something. Because when I was building products for Webflow, you never knew when Webflow will create exactly the same product which you built. And this was very frustrating for people who were building products around Webflow. But in this case, I built a product for AI, and if AI grows, that's amazing for me. If there is a new tool, cool. And when cloud design came up, everyone told me that cloud design right now will replace Mano, but not. Actually, this is great for me, because cloud design for me is actually Opus 4.7, which has amazing capabilities in design, which 4.6 was maybe even better in coding, but in design understanding 4.7 is better. And Mano actually became even more interesting, because right now you can ask Opus 4.7 to design something, and when there will be a new models, you'll be able to use them.
And what I also like about your tool in particular is that it's very technical as well. So this is because I was about to ask you about the cloud design thing, if you are worried about that, but you just answered that. But I think what is the thing that was missing for all of us, and this is something that we wanted to come up with on the hackathon as well, is the way to tweak the designs after they are generated or brought from Figma. So basically, like, this is what Webflow gives you, and they are doing it like the best, I think, on the market, the visual editor, right? Tweaking the paddings, tweaking the CSS, tweaking the JavaScript, even creating animations like with the GSAP panel or the legacy interactions. The previous panel was also great for interactions as well. But what I liked about Mano is that there is this other layer that it's very technical as well. So we can basically tweak anything. And when I was building with Mano, I noticed that as I was learning the tool, I was using it more and more. So, like relying on AI in some parts, but then going into the panel and tweaking the values. And I think this is the biggest thing, the biggest unlock, because Cursor kinda gives you this. They have a design mode, but Cursor is for products. Cursor is like a big tool as well. They don't have a specific tool for websites. Maybe they will. There's a lot of tools like that. But, like Mano gives you this is what I see as the biggest value on top of AI, is the very technical and, of course, also very easy to understand when you come in from Webflow, for example, panel to tweak the values, which is nice. And I think you should also double down on that as well to just make it beautiful and easy to use, because that's how
Yeah.
people will build websites for at least a year from now, because it's changing very fast.
Yeah, I love how Cursor did this feature to edit
Yeah.
product and websites actually too, but I still don't feel afraid with
Yeah.
Cursor taking Mano and making it actually not right now useful, because
Yeah.
Mano is something different. Cursor did a great job, because you can also select an element, you can edit it
Yeah.
visually, and then send a prompt to AI to make this change. So basically, for the designers, it could actually kind of solve part of this problem, because you can edit visually it, but Mano gives you something more. It's like a system where you understand your design system, tokens, components, slots.
Yeah.
You basically understand entire system, and then it also gives abilities to marketing team. So marketing team can click add button, and basically they are building from blocks. So you are working with AI to create a system for marketing team, which they can visually edit and with AI in the same time. So this is entire visual system for websites that is AI first. So this is something what I think is quite niche, and I think that for companies large like Anthropic, OpenAI, or Cursor, it will not be enough large to build something like that. But even if it will, I'm not worried about it, because I build this product for myself. I like to use it. Right now I cannot even believe that I could create a website in a different tool, because I'm a person who built websites for almost 10 years, and I personally would choose this direction if someone would ask me to create a website. So yeah, and a little bit about journey on how I find out that I have to build Mano is that I wanted to build websites with Astro, and because I wanted to create a website where marketing teams could click on something and ask, okay, add me a section. And and around 2 years ago, I started thinking about building it with Astro's entire framework, where I could build it. But still, this visual representation of all components was something what I still missed, and I wasn't able to actually work as fast as in Webflow. So for me, that was something in my mind what was telling me all the time, Maciek, you have to create this tool, because it will be just useful for you, and if it will be useful for other people, then that's also great. So that was basically
and I also love the way you talk about it. Before the podcast, we said we will not talk about building products, but I think we're talking about
this is 20 minutes, and we all the time talk about Mano.
but it's cool. I think it's very, very interesting. It's kind of turning like me interviewing you, which is nice, because I have a lot of questions, and I think this is a cool story of how you're building this tool, because I think it's the best way to build right now. Is that you had everyone is saying that solve your own problem, right? And you also solved ours. And I think there's a lot of agencies that need this problem solved as well. Is they are getting this feedback for sure from some clients that they want a code base. This is the first thing. Then you also solved another problem that we tried to solve on Hackathon, is how to build without looking at code. I have an allergy. Like whenever I used Cursor, it opened the code, the code, like showing me the changes. I didn't want to look at it because I'm a no-code developer. I just didn't want to. I just wanted to tweak it. And then I used this. Maybe I did it wrong. Like, it's always a human error, but I used this select an element and tweak it with a prompt. Oh, it was a hell. Like I just couldn't get it to work. Even on Opus, maxed out. I just couldn't get it to work, and I was just very worried with my every prompt, even with little changes, that it just will mess it up. And you did something in Mano that works, because from my experience, like I can already tell that I had some components that was hard to like even in Webflow I would spend a lot of time doing them, but then just giving a snapshot or just like a hooking to Figma via Figma use, getting the frame, putting into Mano, and then it having built a component which I can understand because it's the same layer, that was a huge unlock. And I like what you said because it's very niche as well. It's very niche, but not so niche, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of agencies building on Webflow, and I'm not saying that we are switching from Webflow, switching from everything. Webflow is still good for a lot of like use cases, but we kind of need to see around corners. And as you know, people being in the space for a long time and hopping onto the no-code train when it was just starting, I feel like it's the next level of that is, I don't even know how to call like no-code department anymore. We are kind of becoming AI builders because, you know, we use AI more and more. It started with JavaScript in Webflow, and then it evolves, and now we are suddenly building custom code websites, which is insane. And that's why I think the tool is a very specific solution.
Yes.
Because it's basically like a next level from Webflow. And since it's smaller and you're just building this, it's very easy for you to pivot around, to change some stuff, just to give you all some story. So even during the 2 days of hackathon, Maciek shipped like 10 features or something on that around that to Mano directly, which is insane because Webflow can't do that. They're shipping fast, but they have a lot of dependencies. Like they can't go this fast. And this is something interesting with AI, that it enables us to tweak things as we go. And you can take on those very big companies with just cloud code and understanding of code and your background, because I couldn't do it, but you're able to do that. And how does it feel for you, like, you know, building that and seeing that, and also your perspective of seeing our entire no-code team, so 10 people, using Mano on that night of the hackathon? How did it feel for you as well to just see that people were using that and actually generating the output?
Oh, that was crazy to see how people are actually using your tool, and you can see they're actually not just in the virtual space, but actually see how someone
in the room,
in the room creating something, and then there are created amazing websites which I would not even expect how someone can use Mano, connect with some libraries and generate something so cool. This is amazing. And getting back to first question, when you ask me how it is to be able as a small team build something so large. This is crazy that with Cloud Code we can right now build those things. And answering one more question, or line which you had earlier, that building with AI is very often making a lot of like errors if you will not structure your code base correctly, because this is the main I think when you create with AI, you need to have very good fundamentals of your code, because then it will be able to get it farther with the good output. And basically that was also one more reason why I built it Mano, because you can actually see what output this AI is giving it you. You can see if it's using your components. You can see if it's using your variables, because otherwise you would need to all the time look in the code and check if it used your variables or not, if it used this component or not. And this is very important, because if AI is using your components, it means that you are going and making it scalable, because AI is basically need to build something what will last long. You need to build it in a scalable way, and you need to all the time control AI and test it and check the scalability. So basically, it's crazy that we were able to build something like that with Cloud Code, and of course using our technical experience to make Cloud Code go in the right direction and
Yeah.
make hundreds of or thousands of tests, and then yeah, but this is so cool that we are in times where we can create this kind of tools.
Yeah, and it's also kind of the same for like, because you explained the process of like building Mano with Cloud Code, but it's funny because you're building a tool to kind of allow non-technical people to do the same but building websites. And this is like going back to the niche that you're tackling. This is awesome because websites are much easier to do than products, right? So like Cursor is, for example, trying to solve trying to give the ability to non-technical people to build products. That's why they are so big, because that's very hard and you need a lot of funding, and it's just a very hard challenge to do. And there's a lot of companies to do that. But there is this one niche that we all love, like we started with this, which is websites, which is much easier, to create. I even like going way back, I still remember, so it all started for me when in I think primary school even, I had an assignment to do a web page, and we were doing it in HTML. And I remember typing in HTML, but then we had an assignment to actually create a website. And then I was just researching, and then I came across something that called Microsoft Front Page. I don't know if you remember that tool.
No.
So this was like it's funny that don't know that. So Microsoft Front Page was a tool by Microsoft, of course. It was part of the Office package, but nobody knew about that. So it was a first version, and I'm not kidding, of like Vix Studio or like a WordPress. So you could get it was kind of like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, but for websites.
Wow.
And it was insane. You could take like a hero section, drag it, then add another section, and then I got an A+ for this because I used Microsoft Front Page to create like a page. And I was like, I don't know, 12 years old maybe. And it was crazy because I kind of realized that there are tools like this. And then, then I stumbled upon Wix Studio, which also allowed the same. But now, what is crazy when AI came in, because then, of course, after Wix Studio, I discovered WordPress, and then Webflow, which pushed me. The learning curve was higher because I needed to learn what that div was, what all of those elements mean, what is the box model, how do you tweak that, what is JavaScript, like all of those things. But then when AI came in, it accelerated so fast that now from Microsoft Front Page to Mano is like you are basically able to type in a text prompt, and it won't use a template. It won't generate a hard-coded Microsoft Front Page section, but it will generate pure code with a nice looking design. And then you have a tool like Mano on top of that allows you to tweak the design, tweak the page without knowing how to code. So this is crazy. Like the acceleration here is insane. And that's why I believe that tools like Mano are the next step, because this is basically like, when you think about it logically, we are going full circle. We are going back to code, because code was like a very expensive resource. Now it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and everyone can kind of do it. That's why we have a lot of tools, but we are still coming back to code, and that's why tools like yours is awesome, because you don't have to, because they solve you build a layer on top of the code specifically for websites. So I don't have to code a CMS, for example, for clients. It's just there. It's visual. I can just prompt the tool and just give it to them. And this is crazy. And I wonder what the next step is.
Yeah, I think right now there will be a lot of tools like Mano, which will solve different needs. So for example, like Remotion is AI which can create videos, right? You can edit the video or create emotion. I have seen also people using similar things with Blender, that you can, on one hand, AI, and then you can edit it visually. So basically, I think right now this is the age of tools where people can use AI and very natively. So
Yeah,
if tool will not be able to natively add this way of connecting AI, it will no longer be. It will just have so much lower value because
yeah,
people will need to use it to go faster, and
yeah,
people will need to learn when they what they actually can create in this project
yeah,
is is giving the most impact on the project, and when they can use AI and building
yeah,
Mano. This is something what I'm learning right now. So if this section is something what I should do, or I could ask AI. And when I work more with Mano and AI projects, then I'm learning it, and it's getting a little bit more natural for me to ask AI for something. But this one, for example, I don't want to ask AI because I know that this is the part which I have to do it myself,
yeah,
because this is really important. For example, this is giving the direction of the
yeah,
product, and then I have to do it myself. So
yeah.
so
And what's crazy, you can, even if you don't know how to do something, but you don't want to have AI do it for you, you can just ask AI for guidance, which is also like the next level. Like, you can do whatever. But also, like, touching up on that, like, that's why also, because you mentioned that you can use Blender, you can use all of those existing tools. But like, coming back to our example of Webflow, they all rely on MCPs now.
mhm,
Uh, and that's why there is an opening for tools like yours, because you can build something from the ground up AI native. And this
mhm,
is a huge advantage over MCPs. Uh,
yes,
be- yeah, because this gives you much more control, right? Like, over everything. And you don't waste so many tokens. So just interesting times overall.
yeah.
With those tools coming up. Uh, any new features that you are planning to add on Mano soon?
Right now, I would like to focus on marketing teams. So
Yeah,
basically, to make Mano, when you build a project in Mano, it's not only a website, but it's also a product which you give to your client. So I would like to make Mano, and it is right now, but I would like to get it better and better
yeah,
to allow marketing teams to use this product, which is a project in Mano,
yeah,
where they can ask AI for something, and in the same time they can build new pages with components which you set up for them, and create this new way of collaboration between marketing teams and agencies or freelancers who create those projects. So this will be the next
nice.
focus right now
So they
for
be able to, like, generate pages, generate blog posts, and all of this good stuff, right?
yes.
Directly in the panel. Yeah, this is like also something that was not solved before. Because, for example, when you used Cursor for building the website, you need to, like, create a CMS for that somehow, or connect it to Sanity, or whatever is existing. But it's like, not repeatable process. It's just hard to do. Having it built in, it's just much easier.
Hmm.
Also from, like, perspective of the developer, but also for the marketing teams,
Yeah,
which is nice to have in Mano as well. Like, that is just basically built in. And
yeah,
yeah, I
because
wonder what. Yeah,
you mentioned earlier when we talked that you see that clients want to have control on the code
yeah,
base.
yeah.
So, do you think that clients are going in this direction because they would like to have this ability to prompt it and generate it themselves? And
Yeah,
then how you see this collaboration between agencies? Because do you think that it could make, how do you see this collaboration here with the
it,
clients who have control to build it
yeah.
themselves?
This is something that we are trying to answer at Tonik as well, because let's say someone wants to use Mano, then it's just easy answer because we just teach them. We always do that with Webflow. We create tutorials on how to manage some parts that we did, right? How to create new landing pages from components, how to use the CMS, how to basically manage the page for themselves. With Mano, it's kind of easy, kind of similar process because we will just teach them to how to use the CMS in Mano, how to prompt, how to use the components, like it's easy. But I'm still trying to answer the question on how to, let's say they want a GitHub repo, right? They want like an Astro build that we used Mano to build it with. They get the repo. And we just need to figure it out. I'm not sure anybody's doing, like, I don't know many agencies doing that right now. Like let's say we have a custom code department at Tonik. They are building like fully custom coded websites using mainly like Next.js Sanity. So this is the stack that they are using. But then they have they have Sanity, they have like, everything they teach them. We usually maintain those pages, but I kind of need to figure out a middle spot for like a smaller websites. Let's say, because some of the clients won't even want to use CMS. They will be fine with like prompting the CMS, right? CMS, like kind of prompting the page. So I'm just trying. I will just need to figure it out. We'll have like probably different processes, like per different client size, per different client needs, of how to maintain the repo, because that's the answer we are trying to have for them. Because also when they choose to use Sanity, for example, then it's easier because we just teach them how to use Sanity, how to use this stuff. How to tweak the built-in cursor, for example. I don't know, that it will be a lot of work, but it's kind of, we don't have the process yet. It will be just like, test and go. We'll see. But yeah, my hunch is when there is a smaller client, they just want a GitHub repo, they don't want a CMS. We'll just give them the repo. We'll just give them guidance of, hey, you can use cursor, or maybe you're using cursor already. This is how you hook it up. This is some like best use cases, maybe some skills. Maybe skills are the answer. Maybe we will create our own skills to maintain the page in an easy way. I think those are the answers basically. But that's why we are talking, because this is like a gray area for a lot of agencies. We are kind of paving the way of how to bring the best value to clients with the tools that we have at our disposal. We were able to do it with Webflow, and it was very easy to sell because it was just faster than code. And you had this nice, environment to use. Now we need to figure it out, and we are just doing our best to figure it out. Because the clients in the end, they want control. This is one thing. So we are seeing more and more requests of we want to prompt pages, but they are also going to the agency because they need to be, because they are paying us, because we need to take care of them. So they don't want to break stuff. They want to feel that they are like working with experts. So we need to do our best, and this is to all of the agencies that are listening, do our best to guide the client, to make sure it's as seamless for them as it possibly is, and to be the human in the loop with AI, so they don't hallucinate problems, bugs, and everything else. So because this is like a risk, right? Because let's say we send a GitHub repo and hey, here it is, here you go, and then let's say this is a non-technical client, and they have the best intentions, but it's very easy to fuck up the page. Very easy. Because it's just one prompt away. Of
Yes.
It's like breaking everything, right? So we need to have those guardrails, and this is where agencies come in, and this is where the value comes in. We need to be more and more like the experts, the humans that use AI. to the advantage. And because in the end, agencies are a service business. You want to talk with humans that know what to do, that have a lot of experience, that know how to use AI tools, that they grinded the teeth on it. But you want to talk with humans. Of course, there will be some services for sure. Or even right now, you can go to Cloud Code and build a page, right? But if you want something great, if you're a big business, or you just got your funding, you want to make noise, you need humans that know how to use AI. And this is our biggest responsibility right now as agencies, as just creative people, to make it as easy for those people to work with us and to generate an output that is not only much higher quality, but also we need to and to generate a lot more. So the days of waiting for a wireframe for 4 days, they're over. When you're a designer, you can deliver value much faster. When you're a developer, you can deliver value much more faster. So this is something that we need to keep in mind, all of us, all of the agencies, all of the creative people. That's kind of my monologue on that. Kind of backsided here, but I think this is the future of agencies as well.
Great. Yeah. Exactly.
This is my message to the agencies. This is my message to myself as well, because this is a lot of work, but this is an exciting work. I was scared shitless when I saw a lot of people prompting their pages, but there is still a lot of value that we can bring to people, with great design, with great brand, with great code that is outputted by AI, with awesome animations, with an environment that is very easy to manage and that you're not worried about, right? This is the value that we can bring, and this is the value that Mano also brings us and the clients, because we can do stuff faster, we can do it at much better quality, and we can just, maybe faster is not a good word, we can just deliver a lot more. So value is, I think, the main word for our year as well at Tonik, is how we can bring much more value, much faster. And this is what Mano does, right, as well, because you can prompt and you have great value that you can build on top. And this is basically the same story for this tool.
Exactly. How you can adapt to those new tools and bring as much value as it's possible. And I think that was a perfect message which you just left right now. And I think, do you have something else?
I don't it was just it was kind of like an experiment for me and you to just hop on a call and talk. We'll see.
Yes.
So if you want to hear some more, just let us know. Kind of becoming YouTubers right now. So just ask us questions. We are all in this together. I know a lot of agencies and a lot of people. You also know a lot of people in this area. We can just help each other. And in the end, you just need to be useful. And this is also something that I repeat to myself more and more. How we can be the most useful for clients. And this is the key, this is the value, because AI is scary, and there is a lot of, so my last message is for all the people seeing all of those updates, and even you are seeing a lot of updates, you are very deep into the space, you are building a product, there is a lot of products kind of like yours popping off. My message is that the FOMO is higher than it has ever been. Every post you see is web design is over, no-code development is over, websites are over, robots will take over. No, I don't think so. I think someone said it, I don't know if it was the Jensen from NVIDIA, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong here, but someone said that you will not use your job to AI, but you will use your job to someone that uses AI. So we just, we just have to be like hardcore optimists and just use those tools. You use them to build a great tool. We use them to deliver more value to clients. So it's just a win for everyone. So I'm not scared, and anyone listening shouldn't be as well, because it allows you to do a lot of stuff. I didn't know how to code. I don't know how to code still, but I just coded my first website recently with Mano, and it was great. I had so much fun. Like, it was the first time I opened Webflow, and I was kind of scared as well, because I opened Webflow, so like a lot of tool controls, everything else, like things like, classes, all this stuff. And the best way to learn is just dive deep into that. If you want to start in web development, for example, call your friends, call anyone, and you will have your first project. Do it for free. Just use Mano and just learn as you go. And then it just kind of takes over. Because like, it's very easy. When you're a designer, use Framer, have fun. Like, just use those tools.
Exactly.
But what we want to leave you with is, keep in mind, and with the point of the entire conversation, keep in mind that AI is there. So think, like, kind of when Maciek was thinking about building the product, never bet against AI. So use the tools that use AI. And this is the main thing, because those tools are able to grow much faster, even if they are small, because they are natively built on top of AI. And this is something that's the biggest value of Mano for me as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the point. So like, never bet against AI, but use AI to just power yourself up and be cool with clients as well, because they are also people.
Wow,
Yeah.
I think that could be like a quote.
Yeah, kinda. Maybe. I don't know if we are there, but yeah, let's just share it. Let's see what happens, and yeah, happy to talk some more about this.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
That would
so
be amazing to talk.
Let's stop the recording now.
Let's
I guess,
stop the
and we'll see what
recording.
happens.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. That was a great talk. Okay.
That was awesome.
I will stop it.
Okay.